Is that Jassara?
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what I
know.
was hoping.
Yeah,
I was
I
hoping.
would I would assume that, because the one thing that with the banking system that um, I've been this is where my NDA comes in. Sorry, there's a lot that I can't
Yeah,
talk about, but the fundamentals are that the system is in place, but, and this is why the arrests happen in New York, there is many deep state bankers
mm,
who have tried to hijack the transition from the old fiat currency to the new quantum system. They've done everything they possibly can to cause chaos, and
mm,
they're still doing it. And they're also still trying to move money around. Um, the normal people wouldn't realize, but on the SWIFT system, the fiat system, the amount of dodgy dealings, and some people will know it as IP, some people will know it as manual downloads. There's lots of different terminologies, but
yeah,
it's basically stealing money
mm,
out of people's accounts. And the basics are that you've got huge bank accounts, as an example, Visa, Mastercard, JCB, etc. These,
yeah.
and then you've got huge funds that if somebody nicked 100 million out of the top of it, nobody even noticed because they're such big accounts. And this is what they've been doing for years. They've been nicking money here, nicking money there. Nobody really keeps an eye on it. They're all up to no good, and you get inside bankers that are all part of it. This has been going on for a long time, and this is coming to an end. And of course, they're still trying to get the last few dregs out there if they can get some. You know, let's try and get 5 billion out of this one before it stops. This is going on,
Yeah,
but they're doing everything they can to stop this happening so they can get a bit more money out.
yeah, you can see absolutely desperate.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the clone side of things and the body doubles, which, is a pretty contentious area because it's so difficult to know who is, who isn't. But what I'm really intrigued is we've heard a lot of things about, is the Queen still with us or not? Similarly, the Pope, similarly, Hillary Clinton and other important politicians and also celebrities. So I wonder how and when we'll find out who is still around and who isn't, because going back to the fact of Trump, letting people expose themselves and everything and not sort of going in and just dictating what happens. If these trials have really been going on behind closed doors, then that's going to be a really interesting one about how they break that to the public, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I've been told that we won't know who they are until March of next year. Why
Right.
it's March of next year, I don't know. Um, I would imagine
Comes
to
up
get
a lot, doesn't it? March next year comes
it
up a lot.
does. And
Yeah.
the one thing that I've learned that I knew nothing about before I started this journey is numerology, symbology, and astrology. I mean, they're playing a huge part.
Yeah.
I've learned an awful lot about the difference between spirituality and religion, which is they're polar opposites. Because religions become very divisive, whereas spirituality you can mix with all different types of people from different, let's say, religions, and you're on the same page when you're talking about spirituality.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the world that we'll come into that will be very beautiful. Because look, when I worked in the Middle East, I still do, but when I work out in the Middle East, and I go into one of the palaces, into the majlis where they have iftar for the breaking of the fast. You've got Muslims, you've got Christians, you've got Sunnis, you've got Shias, you've got all the different Indian religions, but they're all in there together. The only thing that's not in there is women. But that that's just the way they are. But
The Department of Homeland Security has secretly announced an election audit sting that claimed 80% of the ballots have failed ballot integrity checks. As of Sunday, the 8th of October, over 200,000 National Guard troops were stationed in 12 key states to assist in defining legitimate ballots while throwing out fake ones printed up by Democrats as part of an apparent fraud operation. Official ballots used in the election were printed by the Department of Homeland Security. Every legitimate ballot was watermarked with QFS blockchain encryption codes. As Dr. Charlie Ward said, Trump was fully aware of the Homeland Security sting operation and was allowing the Dems to dig themselves deeper into the election fraud. In a few days, Trump was expected to announce the Freedom from Debt NESARA law, the global GESARA law to follow, along with release of another round of stimulus checks. We would have another election in 120 days under the restored constitutional republic, this time using the transparent and fair quantum voting system. Trump win validated by quantum blockchain system recount of votes. Biden elected president of a defunct U.S. Incorporated versus voter fraud. In other words, Biden cannot be president. No one can be president of a defunct United States corporation, which was bankrupted back in September 2015. You guys go back to our older channel, Noble L, for all those details. There will be a number of arrests this week and next week, and we will start seeing the indictments served. Trump would move the U.S. away from admiral and maritime law. The Trump team will expose the fraudulent election. The mainstream media was part of the cabal. We know the election was corrupted. There were more votes than registered voters in many states. When we get into the new system, we don't want the present politicians. When we have another election, it will be a fair system using the quantum voting system. In a few days, Trump will announce NESARA and will have another election in 120 days. NESARA began in the 1950s and was going to be announced just before President Kennedy was killed and again before 9/11. It's being launched now, meaning that the cabal would lose their control over the world. The City of London was no more. The Federal Reserve was placed into the U.S. Treasury. The Vatican has collapsed, and the 13 Illuminati families have been arrested. NESARA would clear us out of debt. The first sign onto GESARA was North Korea. Remain calm, turn off the mainstream media because it's telling you lies. The ballots used in the election were printed by the Department of Homeland Security. Every legitimate ballot across America was watermarked by QFS blockchain encryption codes. Trump was fully aware of the sting operation and was allowing the Dems to dig themselves into their election fraud. The sophisticated sting operation was intended to catch and expose the massive fraud. Everything you're seeing right now with the ballot fraud was completely expected by Trump's people. Thousands and thousands of National Guard troops, over 20,000, have been sent to 12 states right now to assist in securing the legitimate ballots and throwing out the fake ballots printed by the Democrats as part of their fraud operation. The sting will expose the Biden family and get them all convicted and sent to prison. As you guys know, it's already been reported to us that they're actual clones that we're seeing now. All right, you guys, to support us here, thank you to all of you for supporting us here. Go to PayPal at themillings@gmail.com. For those of you needing the GSA bonds, the 1099 OID for child support cases, etc., you can email us for those at themillings@gmail.com. We do ask for support donations for our time and our research as well. You can join our online tutor school class. And for everything else we talk about here, I'd like to pray. Heavenly Father God, we pray. Thank you for giving me the strength to wake up this day, for giving me the voice to speak clearly. I want to put a hedge of protection around Donald Trump, the Army, the Navy, the military, the Marines, and all that is good globally. And even some of those corrupted ones, send your angels over them now. Provide food and sustenance to all the people globally so that they can live right. Thank you to Ashleah L for sharing with us on Facebook. all that you're doing and stuff. All of you out there doing your affidavits, just remember when you're doing your name, what we do. You don't have to do us, you can do you. By John Doe, E.L., L. Bay Day, L or Alley if you have an appellation. All rights reserved. UCC 1-308 without recourse, all rights reserved. I stand by the Book of Ruth, by my deceased, whatever, or my husband, or my father, or brother, what have you, right? Now, I want to thank those of you in the comment section sharing with us. I'm just going to read something that someone shared with us recently. We are in a benevolent, predatory form of martial law from DC, United States, Incorporated. Incorporated, doing business as governance in some form since 1861. Remember, the coup d'etat took place in 1861. Its name is the Libra Code from Lincoln's Executive Order 100 in color of law. We had a constitutional republic form of government from 1819 to 1860 or 1861. From 1776 to 1819, it was changing from an overthrown monarchy. Most of the people from 1776 to 1819, the people at large were not convinced for a long time. There really is an active conspiracy. The industry, military, judicial, legislative, executive, banker, bar, royalist, communist, Muslim, Georgia Guide, Stone complex. This does not involve the true constitutional republic form of government on each of the several states. As long as there are still people, the body, mind, spirit as juxtaposed to person, the all cap name incorporate fiction, all power and inherent in the people. Each state is an autonomous, yes, I'll send this to the email group. Each state is an autonomous nation, not a subdivision of the U.S. incorporated, each with its own constitution. Each state is an autonomous nation, not a subdivision of the U.S. incorporated, each with its own constitution. Remember, the United States Corporation, or the United States, was under the Iroquois Confederation, you guys. Our ancestors set that up for us. All power is inherent in the people. The number of people is not specified, and a majority is not required, as we are not. All power is inherent in the people. The number of people is not specified, and a majority is not required, as we are not a democracy. The several states of the Union are the creator party of the United States of America's Constitution. The people at large are beneficiaries. The people at large are the creator party to the state's constitution. The state of Oregon incorporated governance is color of law, operated by the Salem oligarchy, aka also known as Kate Brown, et al. That is a subdivision of the DC, United States, as originally incorporated during Lincoln's era. I think each state of the other 49 is about the same. A little more carrot or a little more stick. To remove the Libra Code martial law, the method is clear and written down by the de facto. The Libra Code of Lincoln's EO 100 is nullified by a civilian court on the land. So says SCOTUS ex parte Milligan, that Supreme Court of the United States ex parte Milligan. There was no non-zero civilian courts on the land of Oregon until ours, Oregon and the other states globally. I was told there is one on Texas, one in Philadelphia, and one in Georgia. I have been unable to prove this. I do not know. There is no Article 3 court that will claim original jurisdiction. We use the Article 3 court, which is the post office. This is a court that we're having right now on this telecommunications, right? Because if you say something, do something in this medium, it goes under, and it's false fraud or, yeah, it's 18 USC 1340 1 for mail fraud and swindles, and 18 USC 1343 for telecommunications fraud, right? Which is why we were writing back to this entity yesterday about that fact. All right, they have acquiesced to we must do it ourselves. The Army Heritage Center 717-245-3972 or /3949 verified the Libra code was updated and still in effect in 2015. No known charges since then. The JAG, J-A-G, Judge Advocate General, attorney knew exactly what I was talking about, a method of returning Oregon and the state to a constitutional republic form of government is we assembled our first amendment Oregon statewide General Assembly 3 years ago. We notified the Department of Justice, United States, USMS, FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigations, 36 sheriffs, 30 senators, the Attorney General, governors, SOS lawfully, and none rebutted our claim. They all acquiesced and defaulted. We formed Article 1, Section 1 of Oregon's Constitution and informed all the same ones. We formed our civilian court of record and informed all the same ones. We notified all the same ones that through ex parte Milligan's authority, we nullified Libra Code martial law. You guys, I'm reading this. You guys can, I'm sending it to those of you who are in our email group. You can probably set this up in your jurisdiction, your area as well, too, I think is what he's saying here. Not one rebuttal. We informed the Oregon National Guard, Oregon Organized Militias, JAG. Okay, and they are not happy and have talked back and hung up. We are awaiting an appointment with their commanding general, Michael Stencil. We are forming a 45-member grand jury pool and trial jury pool of Oregon people in Oregon, non-U.S. citizens, to bring forth true bills against the evildoers in Oregon. Then implement Article 3 Amendment, 5 Ex parte V11, Ex parte Milligan 71 U.S. 4 Wall 2 1866. I also heard someone sent me another video where they were talking about the RICO Act, which a lot of these agents doing business as de facto governance now fall under that. And so this particular entity on the United Kingdom was using the RICO Act to go after them for fraud and treason and genocide, which is going on currently in the United Kingdom, right? Okay, was a landmark decision of the U.S. Supreme Court that ruled the application of military tribunals to citizens when civilian courts are still operating in unconstitutional. In this particular case, the court was unwilling to give President Abraham Lincoln Lincoln's administration power of military commission jurisdiction, part of the administration's controversial plan to deal with Union dissenters during the American Civil War. Justice David Davis, who delivered the majority opinion, stated that martial rule can never exist when the courts are open and confine martial law to areas of military operations where war really prevails, and when it was a necessity to provide a substitute for a civil authority that had been overthrown. Chief Justice Salmon P. Chase and 3 associate justices filed a separate opinion concurring with the majority in the judgment, but asserted that Congress had the power to authorize a military commission, although it had not done so in Milligan's case. The landmark case stemmed from a trial by a military commission of Lambden P. Milligan, for whom the case is named, Stephen Horsey, William A. Bowles, and Andrew Humphreys, that convened at Indianapolis on October 21st, 1864. The charges against the men included, among others, conspiracy against the U.S. government, offering aid and comfort to the Confederates, and inciting rebellion. On December 10th, 1864, Milligan, Bowles, and Horsey were found guilty on all charges. Those of you who are Moore's heirs, Moore's and heirs, go to rvbaypublications.com to claim your nationality. Do that now. Do it now. Do it now. If you're American Indians, you can come to us at themullings@gmail.com for the rest of the information to collect your status on the record, the SS5, SS4, what have you, right? Milligan, Bowles, and Horsey were found guilty on all charges and sentenced to hang. Humphreys was found guilty and sentenced to hard labor for the remainder of the war. The sentence of Humphreys was later modified, allowing his release. President Andrew Johnson, is it Johnson or Andrew Johnson, commuted the sentences for, it's not Jackson, right, for Milligan, Bowles, and Horsey to life imprisonment. On May 10, 1865, Milligan's legal counsel filed a petition in the Circuit Court of the United States for the District of Indiana and Indianapolis for a writ of habeas corpus, which called for a jurisdiction of Milligan's arrest. A similar petition was filed on behalf of Bowles and Horsey. The two judges who reviewed Milligan's petition disagreed about the issue of whether the U.S. Constitution prohibited civilians from being tried by a military commission and passed the case to the U.S. Supreme Court. The case was argued before the court on March 5th. Hold on, you guys. Those of you in all these states globally and around the world, you need to stand up. You need to stand up and you need to take a stand for yourself and your tribe, man. Whatever vaccines or whatever test kits or whatever they're trying to do in the interim of the Supreme Court cases going on with this election, you need to make sure you're protected. Go and make sure you have a Bible, study law, do what you need to do. You can write to us here at themullings@gmail.com. We will share with you, but you need to stand up. Okay, that's what is going on currently. They're reporting to us that agents are around the globe doing some stuff that's unlawful and illegal in the interim. So you need to know who you are and protect yourself from all of that now, right? All right, the case was argued before the court on March the 5th and March 13th, 1866. Its decisions were handed down on April 3rd, 1866, prepared by Francis Lieber, promulgated as General Orders Number 100 by President Lincoln, 24 April 1863. Yes, he is doing arrests currently and he is rounding them up, but in the meantime, in between time, you guys have to make sure you're protected. Instructions for the government of armies of the United States in the field, prepared by Francis Lieber, LLD, originally issued as General Orders Number 100. Adjutant General's Office, 1863, Washington, 1898, government printing, and yes, thank you to the agent that we wrote to last night that was honoring us, right? Thank you for that. Government Printing Office, Article 1, Section 1 of Oregon's Constitution, natural rights inherent in people. We declare that all men, when they form a social compact, are equal in right, that all power is inherent in the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their peace, safety, and happiness. And they have at all times a right to alter, reform, or abolish the government in such manner as they may think proper. See https www.oregonlaws, oregonlaws.org/ors/79 period 03078 in brackets. Okay, 8. The United States is located in the District of Columbia, now defunct, right? Now, attention office of the International Criminal World Court, the Army, the Navy, the military, the Marines, Donald Trump, the United States Federal Trade Commission, Antitrust Department, and Clearinghouse Department. Louis DeJoy doing business as Postmaster Head. Universal Postal Union heads at the top. Also, Jay Clayton doing business as Securities and Exchange Commissioner. Also, Joseph Otting doing business as the head for the Comptroller of Currency. Also, the Fraud Department, the Federal Bureau of Investigations heads, and Interpol. I come to you in good faith. I stand my ground in one's proper person as a living flesh and blood, sentient being, Suri Juris Suri heirs, heir to the world's vast estate, Moabite queen, empress, Reubenite tribe chief, American Indian, allodial title Moorish American national, UCC 1-308, Rubus Red Rose Angel in Latin. Now, I command an order, and first of all, I just want to thank each and every one of you yesterday for sending us here the person to contact to remedy the situation we were dealing with that, and their Facebook and all the stuff that you sent to us to post all on social media for the globe. Yeah, go now, all agents internationally. Find that head agent that we served last night to protect the globe, right? As people has reported to us, they're also having some interesting weathers and stuff. 90-degree temperatures in Ohio in November, which we know is supposed to be fall temperatures. Go and make certain that those other areas are protected globally as we're all connected, right? And so see to it that those people are protected over there as well too. And then notice to agent is notice to principal, notice to principal is notice to agent, and to all errors and assigns. Um, as well, go now and see if YouTube is in fact Knights Media Club and all the other trolls that they sent to us. Is social media in fact these agents, these entities claiming to be Knights Media Club? And then speak to the head of YouTube and explain to them what we here in common law jurisdiction as Indigenous are being subjected to for based on our religion and our nationality by these very said agents, and have that squashed this night. Round up the finances that they may have collected from profiteering in that situation to go after the YouTubers and make sure the YouTubers and all the people in social media are protected from these said agents, right? Do that for us. Now, use the go to the American with Disabilities organization, gather help from them as well too for those of us who were made disabled, and know that we were made disabled as per the selling of our birth certificate and our birthright theft, making us, yeah, we don't have anything. So basically deal with that now and use this code that he has created here for all of us to use, right? Thank you in advance for your speedy response to that matter. I am tired, you guys. By Noble Honorable Angie Elena D. Alfred L. Rubinite Tribe Chief, American Indian, allodial title, Moorish American National, UCC 1-308, without recourse, all rights reserved. Also see to it now for the infrastructure that's been damaged globally. Go and round up the profits from those organizations. Send it to us this night. And around the globe, right, where other areas have had their roads and stuff washed away. And the people who are reporting to us here that they are also going through severe leaks now as a result of the excess rains and stuff. So deal with that now and send us here what we require immediately so we can remedy the situation here as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, you guys, I'm going to go. Remember to like, share, subscribe to the new channel, Noble L II. As you know, on each channel, we never repeat ourselves twice, even when I'm repeating words or, I'm sorry, reading words, the energy behind it, because I'm a spiritual being first. We're spiritual beings first. We're spiritual being first. My brain is thinking or hearing other things from the angel gods that are speaking to me. So though it might seem the same to you or to other people listening, it's always something different behind it, right? So just keep that in mind, you guys. Like, share, subscribe. You guys have yourself a great day. And remember to support us here. Go to PayPal at themullings@gmail.com. We do ask for donations for each of these videos. $1 or more, whatever you can afford, we appreciate it. And we just want to say thank you. And to all of my kings who support us and pray for us here, and all of my queens, Ashalia L. Kiki Smith, Copper Aborigines, Horatio Bay, Hawaiian Bucks, Tracy Rockamore, and all of you guys, iTree Roots, and everybody whose names I can't even, Duran Tanzanite, and the list goes on. Thank you, thank you, thank you to each and every one of you around the globe, United Kingdom, Australia, and everywhere on the planet who've written to us to pray for us and support us. A huge thank you.